Reunion. Hello, y'all. I was selling crack on a private jet up in the hell and back. But no confusion, this a reunion. Hello, y'all. Welcome back. Get murder here. He counting money. He said, "Can man, the hell with rap. I'm only here to shit on niggas and piss on bitches. Welcome, ass. I bought jewelry and bikes, nigga. Black Benzes and white Vickers. Now I'm out here and I'm looking for more chandeliers and light fixtures. Nah. I don't like niggas, what's wrong with me? I'm a hype nigga, but this 44 turn to Michael Jordan. I look and say, take flight, nigga.
Welcome back to It Is What It Is. This episode is sponsored by Underdog Fantasy. The app is an easy way to make some cash just by making picks on your favorite players. Underdog is available in more than 30 states, including California, Texas, and New York, just to name a few. Make sure to support the show by hitting the link in the bio and downloading the Underdog Fantasy app. They'll also match your first deposit up to $100, and you get a special pick when you sign up. I'm Treasure Wilson, aka Sat Baby, along with your hosts, Mase and Cam.
What's good, bro?
Killer was good, man.
Shit, what's going on? How you this morning?
Man, I hope this draft gonna be better than yesterday. It was a hard day yesterday, pause.
What happened yesterday?
Man, what didn't happen, you know? It was one of those days.
All right. Well, I don't know if the draft gonna help.
Hey, well,
Yeah.
let's get into it. So the 2024 NBA draft happened last night, and the number one overall pick was Zachary Risache to the Atlanta Hawks. So before we get into more details of the draft, what is you guys' just opinion on the first overall pick?
I'm not as familiar with this guy. I've seen some pretty good highlights on him. I could see what they were checking for. But Atlanta just has this history. And I know it's hard for me to separate him from Atlanta, but Atlanta always have this history of getting the wrong player, you know. Just it goes so far back. I don't even, other than when they traded Trae Young, they traded for Trae Young for Luka. That was the last thing that they did that I thought was crazy. And I think he will end up being a cool player, but I think this is another one of those situations that they're gonna come back and super regret that the number 2 player is the one I think is the one as of today, and anything could change, but I don't think they picked the right player.
I don't know nothing about him. NBA. I don't ever underestimate these scouts. I don't ever underestimate these NBA scouts, GMs, presidents. I think they have people in the right places around the world, and they do what they do. I remember we talked about it, obviously, maybe a few days ago or last week, I don't remember when, about how everybody was mad at Porzingis when Phil Jackson got Porzingis.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't even sit here and tell you much about him. I ain't gonna say and act like I know. But what I will say is that it's been great number 1 picks and it's been flops, and we'll see what happens. I know this much, this 2 years in a row that somebody from France has been picked number 1. And this is exactly what I was talking about the other day, how American basketball is, I don't want to say declining, but the rest of the world is definitely evolving and catching up to us if they haven't surpassed us already when it comes to basketball. But it's 2 years in a row that somebody from France is the number 1 pick. And he's another 7-footer as well. So congratulations to the Hawks. We have yet to see what happens. But if I could sit here and act like I tell you a bunch about this guy, I'll be lying to you. I don't know. But I guess we'll find out soon.
Okay. And I know you started talking about your thoughts of just like international players being a majority of a lot of this draft class. Mase, how do you feel about this surge of international players over American?
I think it's great. I mean, when you're looking for the best player, you got to take the best player no matter where he's from, you know? Like what Killer was saying, I think the Killer had him mixed up. The guy that should have went number 1, I believe, is the one who is over 7 feet. The guy that went number 1 is 6'9".
Star.
Yeah. And the other guy, he's 7 feet, can handle the rock, shoot from 3, play defense on both sides of the floor. but I think he didn't want to go to Atlanta. That's one of those things where people say, "Yo, don't pick me," So I think that played a part in it, that he wasn't really wanting to be there, and he preferred to be at Washington D.C. And you kind of don't want to plan for your organization that don't want to be there. But what was your question against that?
Yeah, how do you feel about this surge of international players?
Yeah, like I said, I think you got to go wherever you got to go if you want to have the best team. Like Cam was talking about yesterday, how Petrovic came from another country, ended up being in Portland. They had to wait and get him from Portland to make him play in New Jersey. So, I mean, at this point, wherever you can get him from, you see people even coming from the G League. And this guy should be good. He should be good, even though he's going to Detroit. That's weird, but you got to get the best player from wherever you can get him from at this point, because this is one of the first years for me that I didn't hear about many players in college. Like their names wasn't popping out. Like, it should at least been 8 players that we all know that are out of this world. And I can't say we were able to name 8. Every time we talked about a player, it was because they were doing this or doing something off the fit. You're getting their nails done, shooting in cars, having guns, all type of things. But basketball play, not really. So if you have to go to China at this point, you got to go wherever you got to go to get that player.
Yeah, this ain't really nothing new. Like I said, I think the last 3-4 years, you got at least 2 or 3 people, and I'm just going off the top of my head, that's been all NBA first team that isn't from America. Last year, is 4 players that weren't from America. Jason Tatum was the only player from America that was first team. As far as the players that went 1 and 2, like I said, I'll be sitting here lying. I didn't even know the nigga height. I'll be sitting here lying and acting like I know. But one thing for sure, 2 things for certain. If you're nice and you get in the right situation, we're going to hear about you. Like I said, we ain't know who Porzingis was. He went and got numbers. We got a bunch of players like that who, if you're good enough, will end up hearing about you eventually. And, just thinking off the top of my head, we're talking about Derek White, somebody who's an NBA champion now, and I'm not saying he's a superstar, but he's a very important piece of the Boston Celtics winning the championship. And I believe he went to a D2 school, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So you'll hear about these people if they end up being the prospects that they're supposed to be. To me, bigger than anything that happened in the draft yesterday, and I want to give a big shout out, and I'm not saying I'm back, but big shout out to the New York Knicks about the re-sign OG Anunoby. The Knicks are busting fucking moves. $212 million for, I believe it's 4 or 5 year deal. Whatever the deal is, I'll get you some more information when I got it in my notes. But them niggas want to win now. You got Mikal Bridges one day. The next day you re-sign OG. You got Julius Randle coming back. We already seen the emergence of Jalen Rose. Them niggas want to win now. And Leon Rose and Worldwide West is pushing the fucking envelope. Right now, they're saying we can get Boston if we're healthy. And with this lineup that they're putting together so far, I'm not sure if they're going to be able to retain Mitchell Robinson or not. But shit, the Knicks are fucking busting moves in the last 2 days that don't have shit to do with the draft. I think these niggas is on it, and they seen the success and how much people were excited about it last year. And that was my biggest takeaway from yesterday, bigger than the draft to me. It's them re-signing OG, because OG, when he wasn't hurt, he was definitely a difference maker. He's an NBA champion, and they're going to have some great chemistry if they could figure it out with Julius Randle and Mikal Bridges. I'm very, very impressed with what the Knicks has been doing the last few days.
Yeah, and in that drive, it definitely seemed like when we're talking about players in the States versus the international play, it definitely looked like the good players came from the programs we all know, UConn and Connecticut. I'm not Connecticut. I mean UConn and Kentucky, because you got Rob Dillingham coming out of there, and then you have the shooter, but I'm not really familiar with him. But he ended up going number 3, Reed
Shepherd.
And then you got Portland was crazy because it seemed like they're not satisfied with Ayton or the Scoot because they drafted a point guard and a center, so they definitely plan on getting them two out of there, I guess. That was the real shocker for me.
And then, so after what we've seen, right, the players who were drafted into the NBA, what do you guys feel like is the more beneficial route for these players? Like G League, college, or playing on an international team? Because we've seen a big range from last night.
Go to France. I think the best thing to do if you playing ball right now and go to France, it seemed like they have a pulse on the talent that's coming up. And right now it doesn't seem like it's being spearheaded any other place. It seemed like every great player is coming out of France and is making the NBA league take players that seem to be good from France over a person that may be good from somewhere else, because they're starting to look at it like this is where the talent is. I mean, you go back to even Wemby. Now this new guy that's coming up, they took like 5 people in the first 10 picks. That was crazy to me.
Just the exact question.
Yeah, what do you think is the more beneficial route for people getting the NBA G League, college, playing on an international team?
For people in the G League?
No, like just like what do you think?
Which way?
Yeah.
I said
which way from who?
For just players looking to go to the league. So like what do you think is the better route for them? Because we've seen a lot of international players.
You just can't pick up and move to France. Like, it's not in everybody's budget. They don't have to connect to do that. Look, as terrible as America is, go practice and bust Americans' ass. That's still the first option, to bust niggas' ass in America. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, and think about this too. You got to realize they're building their skills up, and not just that, they're tall. You're looking at fucking Wemby, however tall he is, could handle, could shoot the jump shot, could dunk on you. All these different traits. Going back to Dirk Nowitzki, he could sit there and shoot the open jump shot, turn around 1 foot in the air, etc. Go practice. They have height and they have skills. As far as the way to get there, is hard work and busting niggas' ass in the environment you in and trying to get your name out there. What I believe is going on now in so many AAUs and these camps is so many mothers and fathers that think their kids are better than what they are, because now when you're at AAU, you could pay $500 for your son's highlight reel. When he made 4 shots, missed 17 shots, but you put the highlight reel together and it looked good, and now you think he's somebody when he shot 4 for 21. So I think that it's more focused
That's
on—
a good point.
Yeah, it's more focused on internet, social media, etc. when it comes to American basketball, that we're not really focused on the actual hard work and dedication that it takes anymore. I'm not going to sit here and throw anybody under the bus that's working hard and having a dedication, but it's nobody standing out. So as far as which way is the best route, I have no idea what to tell you. I mean, as far as traditional, it's traditional, man. What Mase is saying is, you know, because people are coming from France, that's the best route, but everybody don't have the means to move to Jersey if you're from New York, you know.
Yeah.
And not just that. Just because you go to France, that doesn't mean you're gonna make it back to the NBA. Obviously, them niggas is good over there.
Yeah.
You go all the way back to Tony Parker. Tony Parker was a very good basketball player, Hall of Famer, great point guard. Going to where the NBA players is, I'm not saying that's not a good route, but everybody doesn't have the means to get there. And just because when you get there, think you're gonna bust people ass, you're not. It's obviously they're here for a particular reason.
Yeah.
I don't have the answer to the question stat that you're asking, because it's all type of ways to get to the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
We sat there and seen and I know this isn't the best example in the world right now because he's playing on the Wizards and they're terrible, but Jordan Poole was in the G League, and when he was in the right situation around the right people before the shit happened with him, he looked like one of them niggas. He looked like he was about to be one of them niggas.
Yeah.
It's different ways to get in, you know. Kevin Garnett, Tracy McGrady, Kobe Bryant, all high school players. You got Carmelo Anthony, you got Zion, you got one and dones. You know, it's a lot of different ways. And trust me, what I will say is this about the NBA, and they're not always right. And I'm not talking about the NBA. I'm talking about GMs, coaches, front office staff, scouts, etc. They're not always right, but trust me, they are out looking. They're definitely out looking. When I was at the Lakers Pro Day or Bronny's Pro Day, or however you want to put it, because there's other people doing their workout for the Lakers on Bronny's Pro Day, everybody was there. Pat Riley was there. Like, Pat was in the building. You know what I'm saying? It was GMs from so many different teams. Elton Brand, well, like I said, my man Jeff from Shaw. It was so many different people there that when you're good or supposed to be good or supposed to be somebody, that means Pat Riley, who's probably almost 80 years old, gets on a flight from Miami to LA to come see you for an hour and a half. They put their time and dedication in to try and get the best player for their organization. So I don't know the right answer, but when you're good or you starting to get a name for yourself, they'll find you.
Yeah, the reason why I said France is it seemed like that's where the talent is coming out of. They had over probably like 5 of the top lottery picks, and the people that made this top 5 is seeming like the best thing for the NBA. And these are not even players that's going to make the French national team. So that said a lot. That you got these players that they're 1, 2, or 1, 3, whatever picks they are, and they're not even on a national team, which means that the people that are just beginning in France is that much better than the people in the States.
What I do want to say is too quick. Oklahoma City got this guy called Nikola Topic. He's hurt. He hurt his ACL. Nasty point guard.
Yeah.
Now I seen him play. Super nice. Reminds me kind of a Drazen Petrovic, left-handed though, nasty. He probably won't play this year coming up because he's just coming off injury, and I don't know if OKC is going to keep him because of they have SGA. And this kid, when he's healthy, looks like he needs to play now. So I will give him a shout out when I see him get picked at, I believe number 12, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
That kid, I seen him play on some highlights about a year ago. He's been a pro, I believe, since he was 16. Nasty. So I'm looking forward to see him play, but it probably won't be this year from Serbia.
And that's probably why they moved to the Bulls. Got rid of one of the guards to create space for him in the backcourt.
Okay, and then a last question concerning the draft. So then how did you guys feel about the draft class so far? I feel like this class lacked a lot of excitement. Why do you think that is? And then how do you think that we can bring that back?
Hopefully this draft class will turn out to be better players, because sometimes you have the real popular players, but then they don't actually end up that good, but they come with all of the hype. One thing Killer said before about a Porzingis, or a lot of these players that don't have the name at first, like the guy he just named. I wasn't really checking for him, but I know who he was talking about. And those are the type of players that make it because they're not about all the off the court stuff. They're about getting the shots up, playing the right way, working out every day, and really trying to be great at their craft. And I think that's more what people should be about, because if you look at this draft on paper, there's a lot of talent here, but it's not people that we actually know yet, unless you just really been studying basketball and you have a feel for it.
You're going to lack without superstars when it comes to the draft I'm talking about, and creating excitement. I was more excited to see the WNBA draft because you knew who was in it. You knew Caitlin Clark. You knew Angel Reese. You knew Cameron Brink. You knew Carmella. I just named more people in the WNBA draft off the top of my head than I know in the NBA draft. That's because they were creating superstars in the in the NCAA's women division. And it created hype, and it created rivalries, and it created shit talking, and it became bad guy versus good guy, or bad woman versus good woman versus bad woman, or black against white, or whatever scenario you want to use. It was a hype that was created that translated into the WNBA draft. And the thing about the WNBA draft, even into the season, is so close. So you got the NCAA championship women's in April. Then in May, you have the draft. Then in the end of May, you have the beginning of the season. So you got all this trickling back to back. You got Caitlin Clark on the cusp of winning her first NCAA championship, but you got undefeated Dawn Stanley saying, fuck that ain't happening. Oh man, this is great for TV. Then you got Angel Reese, she had got eliminated earlier, didn't make it back to the championship, where she was the champion the year before that. Then 2-3 weeks later, you got the draft. Everybody's tuned in because you know that Caitlin Clark is going one. You want to see what number Angel Reese is going. You want to hear about Carmela's story, knowing that she came from South America, didn't speak English, came and got her family out the hood. It's all these storylines that go along with the shit. Then it trickles into the season to where they're playing against each other, and you got Caitlin Clark not playing as well as people think she should be playing. And you got people, it's all these storylines. I don't know what's going on in this college basketball or this draft. I'm not even sitting there like I care about the draft. When y'all niggas get there, if you start ringing bells, then we'll hear about you. That's just that. Like, I sat there and watched the NCAA championship this year and didn't know nobody. I didn't know nobody. As good as Connecticut is, and I know they've been rocking 2 years in a row, the most famous person on Connecticut is Danny Hurley. That's who I identify with when we talking about Connecticut the last 2 years. And I'm not undermining you guys at all, because to win 2 championships back-to-back for the players that were there for this 2 years, that's a great feat. But they're not marketing you guys very well to where I could be familiar with the guy's name. So I don't know what to tell you about how to hype it up or make us feel better, but I'll tell you this much. When we knew about Zion entering the draft, niggas was tuned in. We knew about Ja Morant entering that draft that same year, you was tuned in. When you heard about Wemby last year, you was tuned in. When they have celebrities or stars that we're familiar with, and that doesn't mean it's going to translate on the NBA floor, the all-stars, the superstars, part of me has to say, that they're creating have us intrigued and have us watching. If you're not one of these people that sit there and watch college game in and out, you're not going to be too familiar. And I don't have the time to watch college every day when it's there 15, 20, 25 games a night trying to figure out who's going to be the man. Secondly, when it comes to these overseas players, like I said, you'll hear a name and you might do some homework on them, but I don't know what time Serbia plays the Ukraine. I don't fucking know. You know what I'm saying? So when they get over here and start making a name for themselves, then you get familiar. So I'm not downplaying anybody who made it. I wish them all luck and congratulations. I've seen people who are emotional crying, as you should. All I'm saying is that you are not marketing yourself the way you should. And the reason I'm saying you is because that's the way college may feel. Okay, you got NIL, you figure it out.
That's exactly how they feel.
Yeah,
you took the money.
Yeah, you got
we used to promote y'all.
Yeah.
You wanted the budget.
Yeah, you got
your album out.
Exactly. You want to go independent. You ain't want the label. So now when nobody know, you don't say nothing. Because you took $100,000 from Frisbee's Cheerios, whatever cereal that is. Now, because you thought that was going to hold you down, nobody knows you. And I'm not saying that you're not good enough. It's just that they're not going to want to market you the way that they used to market other players, because they may feel, all right,
yeah,
you took $1 million, you took $100,000, you took $50,000, you took $500. Bet, spend it on yourself.
Well, I do also just want to say congratulations to round 1 of the draft class. Definitely looking forward to round 2. I think we all are. So
I'm definitely, the only reason I'm watching round 2 is for Bronny. There's no other reason I'm watching round 2. I don't know who came up with this idea to make a second day. Right now is looking like the worst decision. I don't want to just rain on your parade. Hopefully today it'll be sparks, but yesterday was crazy. I was just like, man, where's the second round? Normally you look and pause for the people who didn't get drafted, like they're about to come up and they're like, oh, it's over. It was weird in a sense.
Yeah, well, and I'm not combating. I'm just saying I'm not sure. No, NFL is 2-3 day event.
Yeah.
The WNBA shit was so successful that the NBA thought they had one and they didn't. Two things y'all need to work on is the draft and All-Star Weekend. That's where y'all guys are slacking at tremendously.
Mm-hmm.
Like, All-Star Weekend is terrible compared to what it used to be. And the draft, if you don't have these, the most famous nigga I seen at the draft was my nigga Rich Paul. He's sitting there cheesing with somebody and shit. I said, he must about to get paid. Yeah. He was sitting at the family table cheesing. I said, this nigga here, boy. That was the most famous nigga I seen at the draft. So
I will say Clutch Sports is up. Okay.
Yeah, they only had one Duke player in the first round. I said, yeah, it's a new day.
Okay, so also speaking of storylines, an interesting one. So according to his sources, Stephen A said Phoenix Suns want out of Kevin Durant and Houston would prefer a Devin Booker. But the Suns owner tweeted, NBA draft night is the best. Everyone is talking about the drama and storylines. Some are right and some are just wrong. My turn. Phoenix loves Kevin Durant and Kevin Durant loves Phoenix. And we are competing for a championship this year because we have the team to do it. Gotta love draft night. Go Suns. So what do you guys think of, first, the contradicting storylines? Because Stephen A said something, Matt Ishbah said something. There's different sources from different people. So how are we feeling about that?
First of all, I know Stephen A, would not make that up. I don't. He doesn't cross me as a guy that will make anything up. He's basically going to say what he's saying because he has a source that's feeding him the information. And when it comes to Kevin Durant, I don't see why they would not be looking in another direction because this team is not going to win. And I'm not putting that on Kevin Durant, but they definitely got to think of how to mix this team up because they have all players that need the basketball, and there's only one basketball. It would be different if they had a different style of team. So when I hear him say this, I'm definitely looking at it like there's some validity to what Stephen A is saying. I know that it's draft day, but we're trying to win. Everybody in the West is getting better. And to think they're just gonna come back with Book, with KD and Bradley Beal, I don't see it. I definitely don't see it. And I'll go on the record for it. I don't see it. Because there's certain things that I saw that you're not going to be able to fix that with 1 year. You got to change. You got to change the morale of that team.
Who said what? I know. Who said that Kevin Durant loves Phoenix and Phoenix loves Kevin Durant?
Yeah, Matt Ishbah. And then Stephen A said that they want him out, basically.
They said that Houston wanted Booker,
Devin Booker,
but they didn't want Kevin Durant.
Who said that?
Stephen A said that, and then Brian Windhorst had a quote too. I got to find that exact one. So they all three basically.
I can see Houston wanting Devin Booker.
He say, she say. Mumbo jumbo 1, 2, 3. Listen. Look, like Mase said, I don't see Stephen A making up nothing. And
yeah.
I met the owner of Phoenix when I was there, the new owner. He's a pretty cool guy. I looked out when we was in the suite, all of us, me, Mase, Isaiah. He's a cool dude. I don't know. I'm not going to say and call him a lion either. I don't know. But if you're an owner and you don't have a definite trade for Kevin Durant right now,
you're going to say
whatever it is.
We love Kevin Durant and Kevin Durant love Phoenix.
And that's exactly what you're going to say until something comes along the lines that makes sense for the owner. I'm not sure if Kevin Durant has a no trade clause in his contract or not. But the last thing you want to hear if you're a player or especially a Kevin Durant is trade rumors or somebody's not happy with you within an organization or anything negative because that lingers. And then you have to come back next season and look at niggas all day. And then you want to talk to people. I remember just giving one example, because probably a million, but Latrell Sprewell was so mad at James Dolan when he played for the Knicks. Every time he would score in the guard, he would point at James Dolan. I was kind of young. I wasn't paying attention if it was contract issues, if James Dolan said something, if they wanted to trade him, or whatever. But think how crazy that is that every time you score, you look at your owner and say, yeah, nigga, yeah, fuck is you talking about? This is the owner of your team. Like, yo, this is the team. He owns the team. Why are you yelling at the owner after every time you scored the basketball? So I'm not saying Kevin Durant would do anything like about Latrell Sprewell was doing at the time. And real quick, I remember Carmelo Anthony. He didn't go as far as Latrell Sprewell, but he was saying, "Go ask James Dolan." I don't know. You don't want that lingering when you're with an organization. So I think the owner of the Phoenix Suns said the right thing. And then I do agree with Mase. I don't think that Stephen A is making this up, but at the same time, if you're the owner and nothing's on the table, he said exactly what he was supposed to say. What's real and what's not real, I don't know.
Okay, so let me ask y'all this. Do you guys think it would even make sense for the Suns to look into trading Kevin Durant or Devin Booker?
Does it make sense? No, but I could see them doing that. I definitely could see them moving one of the pieces because it's unclear of whose team it is. And in order to build a team, you gotta have some clear cut answers on what direction we're going in. And it seemed like that's something that they struggle with when even it was games we saw that Book would have like 40 and then Kevin Durant would have 32. Those were the games that they were like really winning. But the times when they were trying to figure out who's going to score and who the ball is going to go to, pause, that's when they struggled as a team. And I'm saying in a stacked Western Conference right now, they're going to need to make a move because Bradley Beal right now is a name. When he come back healthy, hope he's going to ball, but it's still every person on that team needs the ball. It's a ball dominant team. You're not going to win like that. You got to have some people that just spot up, people that just run the plays and get shots in the corner. And until they buy into that, that's a hard sell. So they're definitely going to have to look forward to moving one of them. And it's sad because the person that should have been moved will be Bradley Beal.
Yeah, the way they looked in the playoffs last season, earlier this year, not just the playoffs, all year long, they didn't look good at all. And then getting swept in the playoffs did not help. I wanted it to work because it looked good on paper, but it just isn't working. I have no idea, even to the point where, and I'm happy he got the opportunity, but even to the point where they brought in Isaiah Thomas at the 12th hour to play with them. You know what I'm saying? It's because they were trying to figure it out. And what I really believe is going back to the owner, and that's why I kind of lean with Stephen A more than what the owner said, but I think the owner said the right thing, is that y'all niggas was all here when I got here. I want to do my own thing. I want to put my team together. And I'm not sure if he knows how to do that or if he trusts his general manager to do it, but it's not going to work as presently constructed because I don't see them being better than Denver. I don't see them being better than Utah. Not Utah, better than Minnesota after especially the confidence that they gained that just passed. Yep. And a host of other teams that's OKC, Dallas. It's a host of other teams that they're not better. And I'm just not saying that because they're very explosive on offense. But defense, that's where it's going to be slacking at. And I just don't see them beating about 4 or 5 teams in the East. So I would hate to see them all get moved around because I don't, when you don't have a no trade clause and you're as good as Devin Booker and you're as good as Kevin Durant, to end up with the Wizards tomorrow would suck. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know exactly. I'll have to look up their contract and check it out or make a phone call or two and see if they have no trade clauses or not. But I don't see this team winning right now. And if you don't get rid of one of them, you will have to bring not just one other person in, two, to make a run for the Western Conference Finals, let alone a championship.
Okay. With that, we're going to go to break. When we return, we will discuss Marcus Smart's comments about the Celtics.
Can you tell us a little bit more about that? I mean, is there...
I was selling crack on a private jet up in the... I didn't get the shot, Dipset Couture. Make sure you go online to dipsetcouture.us to order some shirts and everything else, but... So I'm gonna get some cheeks after this horsepower. Jewelry and bikes, nigga. Black Benzes and white figures. Now I'm out here and I'm looking for more chandeliers and light fixtures. Nah, I don't like niggas. What's wrong with me? I'm a hype nigga, but this 44 turn to Michael Jordan. I look and say, take flight, nigga.
Welcome back. Now let's get into our Underdog Fantasy picks of the day. So tonight, the Fever will play the Storm. Underdog Fantasy has Caitlin Clark at 17.5 points. Do you have her higher or lower, Mase?
And the Storm. I'm gonna go higher. It should be lower, but I'm gonna go higher.
Yeah, higher.
Aaliyah Boston is at 3.5 first quarter points. Do you have her higher or lower, Cam?
She ain't impressing me. I'm gonna go lower.
I'm gonna go higher. 4 points.
Shout out Aaliyah.
Not too higher, but 4 points.
Okay. And Jewel Lloyd is at 4.5 rebounds. Do you have her higher or lower, Mase?
The whole game?
Yeah.
Higher.
Higher.
Download the Underdog Fantasy app and you can make your picks too. So on a podcast, Marcus Smart said the Celtics winning the NBA Finals was bittersweet, but he's proud of them. He said it's definitely tough because I was in the trenches with them. So to not be able to finish what you started with those guys is definitely tough. Granted that he was just traded last year. What do you guys think of his comments? And what do you think would have happened if they didn't trade him? Mase first.
I think they made the right move in bringing in Drew Holiday because he had championship experience. Sometime being in the trenches with somebody who's won in the trenches is going to be different than somebody that you just been in the trenches with. And not to sound harsh about it, but they made the right decisions. Coming down that stretch, playing against who they was playing with, Kyrie and Luka. If they had Marcus Smart there, I truly believe that Kyrie would have got off against Marcus Smart. So they made the right choice. He would have had a field day with Smart. So they made the best decision they could possibly make. That's why they're champions. And shout out to Brad Stevens for having the guts to make that decision, because so many people would say, why make that decision? He plays so hard. But sometimes you need more than pause or just a person that play hard. You actually need to win. And that was a tough decision probably for him to make because he was such a fan favorite in the Boston community. But when he says that he's proud of them, proud is a word you use when you have something to do with it. And he didn't have anything to do with this championship. This championship was solely won. Like we said in times past, Porzingis won a game. Tatum won a game. White won a game. And Jaylen Brown have been there the whole time. So that's what I see when I see this team. But he had a right to have a bittersweet moment because I know he's thinking like, man, what would it be like if I would have been there? And if he was there without White being there, then they would have won. But I think they truly needed Drew Holiday to be there.
Yeah, man, it got to hurt because Marcus Smart been to a championship. He's been to these Eastern Conference Finals that these guys has been to. He's been on the cusp of winning, just like they've been on the cusp of winning. And the 1 year the first year actually that he leaves, they actually win. I totally agree that Drew Holiday is an upgrade. Porzingis is an upgrade. But I'm not going to blame Marcus Smart for not winning the championship because it's been disarray in Boston as far as coaching is concerned the last couple of years and moving general managers around, so on and so forth. There was no cohesiveness. So as much as I like Marcus Smart, I definitely think Drew Holiday is better. But they've been right there with 2 coaches in the last 2 years, switching GMs in the last 2.5, 3 years, and figuring it out, trying to get some cohesiveness. And he was just part of that. Them couple players, they had to go for them to win it. When you're talking about Marcus Smart and Drew Holiday, comparing them as players, Drew Holiday is very skillful. He's very strong, very smart, very good on offense. I think maybe a little better on defense, to where Marcus Smart is good, but I believe a lot of his play is based off adrenaline, diving on the floor, coloring his hair green, jumping around in the crowd, being one of them bigger.
At best.
I was just about to say a bigger, maybe a better NBA offensive player than Patrick Beverley, just by a little bit. But his play is off adrenaline. That's why he was a fan favorite in Boston. And you can see personality-wise, him and Drew Holiday is like night and day. Drew Holiday ain't doing none of that. He ain't painting his hair green.
He's getting a job.
He's not screaming. He's not yelling. I came to go to work, baby. I'm not doing none of that. My game's going to speak for itself. So he didn't have to do none of the theatrics. Not saying that Marcus Smart is not a great NBA player.
Yeah.
I used to watch him at Oklahoma State. I actually thought he stayed in college a year longer than he should have when I used to watch him, actually. He went out his sophomore year, but he had an exceptional freshman year at Oklahoma State. Used to watch his games on ESPN. But I'm taking Drew Holiday too, and I'm sorry that Marcus Smart missed the parade and everything else, because you could tell he fucked with Boston. But just to let you guys know, in Boston, and I'm not even going to say that Jaylen Brown or Tatum is above it. Maybe so now because Brad Stevens is in office. But when Danny Ainge is there, anybody could go. Isaiah Thomas was that nigga, scored all the points, cut them to the players, his sister died, broke his hip, still played, did everything he could, and said, oh, we can get Kyrie, we'll see you later. So be careful up there if you're black. I'm telling you that right now. You're subject to go if they think that somebody is better than you or could do better for the team. And don't get me wrong, everything's based upon the organization, but sometimes people get so entrenched in the culture, and I like that they don't realize that they're expendable. I wouldn't have been dyeing my hair green if I knew I was leaking traded next year. I wouldn't have been playing with a broke hip right after my sister died, averaging 20-some points on the cusp of a $160 million contract, and then y'all just throw me out like garbage if I knew I was going to get traded the very same summer. So be careful up there in Boston. Just telling you, if it don't look like it's going to go, they need championships. And that's what Boston and the Lakers have been about since the NBA started.
Okay, and then we're going to discuss Olympics real quick. So Athing Mu, the reigning 800-meter gold medalist, will miss the Paris Olympics because she tripped and fell during the trials. You guys feel like it's unfair that she is unable to qualify, or is that just the way things go?
The way she fell, it's like, let me stick with the question. I think it's very unfortunate that she's not going to where is it at, in Paris?
Paris, yeah.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate that she's not going to Paris. But this is like from the track gods almost, because when you look at this, it's like this is everything they teach you in the basics, like how to run, stay in your lane, just different things that they tell you. And I noticed from watching little kids trying to train at these things is that those are like the very basics. So looking at that, I know that has to hurt because it wasn't her speed. It wasn't her form. You know, it was just a mistake that you can't get back. You can't get that back. You got to wait. And it's not like pro sports where you can get it back next year. You got to wait 4 years to get this shot again. So I know she had every right to walk off crying the way she did. But you could just see the joy of other people because they know if she didn't fall, she was most likely going to beat them again. And it was just crazy. And shout out to her because when she was running, it looked like she didn't give up. She still tried to win the race, even though she couldn't win it. And I thought that said a lot about who she is as a person. So we look forward to seeing you in 4 years. And you got to stay disciplined and do it because we see a bunch of young runners taking those spots.
I didn't see the video. What happened? She tripped pretty hard.
Yeah, she tripped in like the first half. And then by the time they were already running out way ahead of her and she couldn't catch up.
And so basically, you had this was the qualifier to go to Olympics?
Yeah.
And this was her against some other Americans?
Yeah, the trials.
People that normally don't beat you. Just imagine niggas who normally don't beat you.
Yeah. The whole thing about it is I don't know how it works exactly when it comes to the Olympics. And if this is mandatory, that you have to participate in this and et cetera, et cetera. I'm not sure how track and field works, but if she was that good, they would have figured it out. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know the rules. I don't know if you trip and you can't make it this, that, and third. When you're good, we can't go without her.
They would have said, somebody tripped.
It would have been a whole bunch of, her shoes was untied. They switched the soles. When you that good, they will find an excuse for you to be in Paris, So, no disrespect to Shorty. Like I said, from what Mason's stats tell me, it sounds horrific. Like you say, you got to wait 4 years and it sounds like you was crying, et cetera. But just to let you know, they would have made every excuse in the world for you.
She was that good. She won the gold before.
Then they need to change the rules. Why wouldn't you take somebody that won the gold back to the Olympics unless they feel like she's not that good for this Olympics? You gotta realize how old is the girl? I'm not saying
she's 22.
Oh no, that she's a perfect age. They need to change the rules.
She was 19 when she won the gold.
22
Maybe
is prime.
because she's from Trenton, Killer.
Nah.
Trenton.
Now that I got a little more backstory, because it isn't like you're 30 or 34 or something like that. This is fucked up. If she won a gold medal at 19 and she's only 22, y'all need to change the rules. Because 22, that means she's even stronger.
Yeah, she was going to smoke them if she didn't fall.
Yeah, they getting trolled.
She was.
She was going to smoke them if she didn't fall.
Somebody threw some shit out there. I don't know what happened, but I know one thing for sure. If you're the Olympic Committee, I'm just thinking about rational sense trying to win a gold medal for your country. Mm-hmm. Why does a gold medalist have to come to tryouts? What I'm trying to say is,
you gotta qualify.
Why would you gotta qualify if I want to go? It's like Braun and them gotta go to tryouts for the Olympics. This shit don't make no sense. Like I said, I'm sitting here learning this as we're talking about it. Mm-hmm. This makes absolutely no sense. Imagine LeBron, Steph Curry, Anthony, whoever that's on the Olympic team, talking about, you gotta go to tryouts. And Fred VanVleet is there. No disrespect to Fred.
The charade.
You know what I'm saying? Ant-Man missed the buzzer beater, so Fred VanVleet is taking this spot. Now, no disrespect to Fred. He's a good player, clutch and all that. Shout out to Fred. But I'm just saying, to me, I'm just trying to make it make sense for me, for Cam.
Yeah.
Because I just don't get a gold medalist having to qualify for the next Olympics, which was in 4 years. She done qualified by winning the gold already.
Yeah, it may be something with the shoes, Killer, because I think it was 3 years ago or something, the girl who actually won fell the last time. So they just swapped places. That's so crazy. It was like you wasn't crying for me, so I'm not crying for you.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, now that I got some more information, I felt really, really bad because sometimes you're a gold medalist and you win when you're 28 and you're not as fast when you're 32. Yeah. Tennis players, they start falling off. When it's a one-on-one sport and you don't have team help, you start seeing the decline in the early 30s. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So when I found out she's 22, y'all got to change it up, America. Y'all got to figure this out because I would be pissed off if I'm an Olympic coach for America and I'm not taking my gold medalist from last time we won back with me.
Yeah,
Sorry, babe. I'm sorry this happened to you.
I definitely want to see the sneakers because this is like the same thing, not the same thing, but similar things happen to two people on the same team. It's crazy to think.
But it also shows just how ruthless it is. And then the last thing before we move on to the next subject. So her coach said, I've coached it, I've preached it, I've watched it. And here's another indication that regardless of how good we are, we can leave some better athletes home than other countries have. It's part of our American way. And then her team also submitted an appeal, but it was denied.
Yeah, because when you're practicing track and field, just like anything else, the form matters, like how you start. So, Killer, this like growing up, a coach telling you a certain way to do stuff and you just think you're so good you don't have to do it. And then you get out there and you trip, then it's like, we went over this 1,000 times. It's hard to sympathize with you when we was drilling this all day and people laughing behind the coach face. Yeah, get down, ready, set. Niggas laughing and then get in front of the big stage and fall. It's like, man.
Yeah, and that's kind of to what I'm alluding to.
Yeah.
It's like, yo, me and Rich Parker got caught cheating at the reservoir, not doing what we supposed to do. We still started.
Yeah, you're right.
That's what I'm trying to figure out exactly. How does this work? Because if you're good, they'll figure it out. I got caught cheating right-handed, not doing what I was supposed to do. I was caught right-handed like this. What are you doing, nigga? That ain't stopped me from not starting. That didn't stop me from... And the other nigga who was cheating with me. We both started whenever we was eligible. So at the end of the day, I'm trying to figure out, why don't they have these rules for the good players? I don't understand how it works in track and field.
I like your idea about when you're a gold medalist, you should not have to qualify. I'm already qualified.
No, I get it, Murder, but I get not qualifying because you still got to make sure you ain't bullshitting. It's a 4-year gap. But tripping and falling is tough, bro. And like you said, you alluded to something that I wasn't thinking about. You might have been running around a little cocky, man.
Yeah.
you might have.
You ain't got to do the technique and all that.
Yeah.
Don't sweat the technique.
Yeah, you might have been sprinting in practice and you so far as you start backpedaling, looking at people like, yo, I don't know. But when Mase just said that, it made me think about it like, that's what you get. I'm not saying this happened, but that's one of them. She's acting like she is all that, and this, that, and the third. And I'm not saying none of this happened. It's all speculation. But I don't get it, because if I'm the coach, I'm just saying me, if I'm the coach and one of my best runners fell to qualify, I'm almost like a dirty cop planting shit at the crime scene, sprinkling crack on the floor, placing a gun under the car seat.
Baby, you on the track, all
that. Yeah, I'm stomping my feet. Nah, it ain't. Nah, we got to do a do-over right here. They didn't do what they're supposed to do. I'm looking for anything if you're that good. But when Stat just said, to the comment to what Stat said, it's like the coach is already copping a play from the statement she read. It's one of them, just in case they don't win. We got, that's what's good about our system. We got players that's better than so-and-so that we're leaving at home. That's bad. That other countries are bringing their best. No, if China win, don't start that shit. Yeah. Don't start that shit if Cameroon win. Do not start that. But we left players at home. Nope. Because I tell you now, if Cameroon, best player tripped and fell, they going to figure it out. Yeah. They got to take the best over there. We're not going to sit here and do that. So that statement she just said, I understand that she's supporting her team and saying that the system of the United States women's track and field is bigger than any player. That's what she's saying. But she's at the same time saying, and if we lose, just keep in mind some of our best players are at home. Nah, shorty. You're going out there with what you got, miss. And if you lose, we don't want to hear that.
And I think that's why it was hard for them to really feel sad for her, because the person she went instead of last time is the person who's going instead of her this time. And they both had the same debacle, just fell on the track.
Yeah, listen, I understand. I didn't know about that till you mentioned it, but at the same time, from what I'm gathering is both of them couldn't have went. Only one or the other.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So if I fell and you was like, yo, you get them next time, murder. And then you fall. What I'm supposed to say? You get them next.
The reason, I'm processing this is both. Like I said, I haven't done any homework on this, so I'm processing everything you guys are telling me at one time. Because when I'm thinking of track and field, it's so many different track and field. It's 400, 800s, the shit where you pass the stick, pause to the next person.
The relay.
Yeah, the relay. So I'm thinking why they both can't go. So that's what I'm saying. I'm like, it's 4 joints on the relay. Why both of them can't go? But if it's just one or the other.
Yeah, because 800 meters is just one race. So like that's the U.S. representative basically. So like. But
are they gonna be out there for the relay together?
Well, I don't think it's an 800 meter relay. I think it's literally just.
No, but what I'm saying is this. Because you're an 800.
Can she go on another, like, is she a part of the other track and field? No.
Oh, yeah, no.
No, this is
like
it.
Trials for different.
This is a trial for this, so she'll have to qualify.
Like the 800 meter, the relay, the 100 meter, like that's why Sha'Carri's going, like they have the different representative for each. So like once you're in your field, if you mess up,
but that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
And I'm just asking, I'm asking.
Yeah.
If you do 800, why you can't do the relay? So I'm not sure, but that wouldn't be beyond comprehension. But that's what I'm saying. Why can't they try out for both? Not saying these girls that we're talking about. I'm just saying in general.
In general, yeah.
Because I'm good at the 800, I'm also good at the relay. I did the 800. Where I go for relay, that's me.
Yeah.
That's when you're a super athlete. That ain't them.
Yeah, like
I know what you said.
That's what I'm saying. Like
with Jacka Joyner, she gonna do a few things.
I played midgets, juniors, seniors, unlimited. I played 3-4 games a day because I'm saying I thought I was that good to play every division since 14 years old or whatever. That's what I'm asking. I don't know the answer is that if you do 800, 400, that don't mean you could be in a relay? Because when I'm watching tennis, it's totally two different things.
You could. You just would have to be super gifted.
Okay.
Like, what was the last lady I remember? It was start with an M. She tested positive for the, what's her name? I'll get it next.
Marion Jones?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Marion Jones.
Yeah, she was doing a few things. That's when you're super athlete. That's not what they were.
And apparently neither was she, because she was cheating like a motherfucker on steroids and all type of shit.
Yeah,
I seen the special
Jones.
on her. I seen the doc. She was cheating like a motherfucker.
She was fast though.
Yeah, I bet she was.
Yeah. And then from what I'm reading, and I'll have to do more research, they can do the different sports, but not the same event. So they can't do different things within track. So I guess, but like, why is still the question on the table? Because it is unfortunate for her. And even like, there's no protocol, because if she does trip and fall, are people going to start using that to their advantage? Like, okay, let me trip so like we can read, like, because you can't do that. So I don't even know how they would fix it.
Yeah, they make sure that you don't try to double back on that. So if you playing sick, just know we don't care. We're going with who's the best on this day.
Facts. Ruthless. Okay, and then last thing before we wrap. So boxing legend Roy Jones Jr. announced the tragic death of his son. He said, "Unfortunately, my son DeAndre took his own life on Saturday. I'm so thankful that God allowed me to come home Friday night to spend the last night of his life with me and the family. I know a lot of people are going through tough times right now, but nothing is worth taking your own life. So first off, rest in peace to his son. That is a very unfortunate and tragic event. But what did you guys think when you heard the news?"
Yeah, shout out to Roy Jones and the entire Jones family. Just prayers go up for Roy Jones and his entire family. Because mental health is really serious, and it seems like it's becoming more serious. I don't know if it's the food or something that's going on, but it just seems that human beings are way more fragile, or we're becoming more vulnerable in speech. But something has definitely changed, and all I can say is prayers for him and his family. And one thing I learned from even just reading this just now is that to pay a lot of attention to people that have a different pause threshold than I have. Sometimes you think something is easy for you, but that doesn't mean that it's easy for that person. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's what I could take from this. Not saying that this is Roy or his son, but that's what I'm learning by listening to what Roy said, is that we got to take serious precaution to how people are feeling and how they're hearing things in this generation.
Yeah, big shout out to Roy Jones. My condolences to Roy Jones and the Jones family. He's a friend and family of the show, obviously, and we appreciate his time for being up here the couple of times that he has been up here. Really sad. Happy for him that he got to spend the last day with his son, because it would have been even worse if he didn't see his son for a time period, and so on and so forth. But that just goes to show that we don't know what anybody's dealing with, because I'm pretty sure if Roy sent something, I'm just guessing. I don't know. I don't even want to put myself in that situation. I can imagine what he's going through, but you have to think about it. Like, if he spent his last day with him, did he see something? Did he feel something wasn't right? Was something happening? Because if he did, he probably would have stayed with him and wouldn't have left him, or even went to sleep, would have been watching him. But sometimes the signs aren't there and everything seems like it's okay. And it may not necessarily be okay. People put on and like I said, this is totally off of Roy. Sometimes people are putting on a facade and be the unhappiest they ever been in their entire life. So sometimes you are paying attention. Sometimes you are talking to your loved ones and family and friends or whoever, and you just don't know what they're going through. And that's why even with anybody I love or care about, especially younger than me, I try to talk to them. Yo, you good? Yeah, I'm good. Nah, nigga, you real good, nigga. I try and get in deep and talk to them just to make sure, because I know somebody actually who had 2 people commit suicide in their life in the last 5-6 years. And imagine walking into that, walking in your house to that. And that shit right there gotta hurt, you know what I'm saying? So I know a lot of people are probably paying attention as much as they can, or somebody tells you that they're good and not good, because I don't even have an answer. Because you could be asking the questions, you could be having the conversations, you could be doing as much as you can, and they're not opening up to you. And that's why, even though we play a lot of different games up here when it comes to Gen Z and baby boomers and so on and so forth, but people are different, or raised in different eras and have different resilience for different things, to where some people can't understand why you're mad at something that they're not mad at, or they're mad at something that you're not mad at, because it's different times and different eras. And that's why you have to learn to talk to people differently, because what may be accepted for you when you was young may not be accepted for them today. You sit there, and I know you kids probably don't know, if it was a show like All in the Family where Archie Bunker came on today, they might have killed Archie Bunker in the street when they see them, all the racist shit, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The Jeffersons growing up, it was really racial. It's a lot of, even TV shows, Sanford and Son.
With Children.
Sanford and Son, I'm talking about racial shit. Sanford and Son, Good Times. Them shows, they show repeats, but All in the Family was one of the most racial white men being racial against black people ever. And we laughed at it. Where today, it would be a fucking picket sign outside.
They would cancel it.
They would cancel, yeah. And looking back on it, it was harsh. I look at it now sometimes and be like, damn, that shit, I'm a little mad. I was young, but that shit was really harsh. And when you don't have miscommunication and it's an age gap and you don't try to meet in the middle, sometimes the younger person can't really take it. You know what I'm saying? So you got to think about that. And then I'm not saying Roy Jones, I'm not using him as an example for the last thing I'm about to say. Sometime growing up underneath a superstar athlete or a superstar rapper or a superstar whatever is not the easiest thing to do. That's why a lot of people will keep their children sheltered because they don't want them dealing with the stuff that they had to go through. So sometimes, as much as we, and I'm not throwing them out there, as much as we watch Stephen A. everywhere, he talks about his daughters all the time. I never seen them. He ain't seen them nowhere because he doesn't want them to probably deal with the scrutiny that he has to deal with all the time. And it's not the easiest thing growing up. We have to think about this last thing. Imagine, we know about Michael Jordan's son more for fucking with Scottie Pippen's ex-wife than we know about him trying to play basketball. Imagine the scrutiny he had to grow up and may not have been that good talking about you Mike's son. Well, nah, you adopted. You can't be that not this good and you Mike's son.
Pressure.
Yeah, that is a lot of pressure. And then if you're not mentally stable for that, that shit could break you eventually. Like right now, as much as we joke on the show and play games and everything else, and I give Bronny James a lot of credit. This man went through a cardiac arrest, supposed to he did go to USC. He didn't have the year he's supposed to. Niggas talk about, he only averaged 5 points. I'm not talking about us, I'm just saying in general. He just in the third. This man went through a cardiac arrest. You always have to deal with LeBron James, the greatest player in certain people's eyes as your father. Damn, you're not as tall as him. You don't shoot as good as him. This, that, and the third. The man's trying to live his dream, and I'm not saying LeBron's son, LeBron James, as your father ain't a motherfucking asset now. That's what we're not going to do. We're not going to act like that's not an asset. But think about the other side of the coin that you have to be like, this nigga ain't shit. I'm taller than him. You know what I'm saying? The whispers is annoying. So rest in peace to Roy Jones' son. And like I said, my condolences to the Jones family. And half the things that I was talking about in here weren't pertaining to Roy Jones or his son. I was just giving different scenarios.
Yes. And then again, our condolences to him and his family. But that is all the time that we have for today. Thanks for watching. And as always, it is what it is.
That was a good take, Killer.
Thank you, man.
Really
appreciate it.
What you want, nigga? Everything, nigga, super size. Two Big Macs, like when they doing them 2 for $5.